Institutions are about to adopt Hedera and HBAR in such a big way, and I feel as though a lot of people are just overlooking this. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's go back in time to March of 2021. It feels as though it was like yesterday, but guys, we're talking about 3 years ago. If we go back in time, BitGo was being talked about even then, and they were addressing Hedera. More so, they were talking about supporting the launch of the Hedera token service. That's how long ago this was, when Hedera was launching the Hedera token service, and this was to foster its growing token ecosystem. Now, I bring this back up because if we go over here, back in February of this year, BitGo became a Hedera council member. Huge thanks to BitGo, Director of Platform Sales, for joining Zenobia on the podcast for an in-depth look into BitGo's history in Web3 and the motivation, rooted in delivering trust in digital assets, behind joining the Hedera Council. When the opportunity came to join the Hedera Council, we got really excited about that. We think there's opportunity for our clients and potential clients to be using Hedera in really creative ways. We're just beginning to scratch the surface. Now, we have a few key points here that I do want to quickly address, which is number one, BitGo is a qualified custodian of digital assets and wallet service provider to investors, retail users, enterprises, and financial institutions exploring DLT. Hedera's governance model, robust network of ecosystem partners, and unique network features were key factors in BitGo's decision to join the council. By joining the council, BitGo aims to further the growth of the Hedera ecosystem through the exploration of tokenization, staking services, contributions to network partners, and more. Now, also, guys, we've addressed BitGo in the past. For those that are new, maybe you don't know about this, BitGo is an absolute giant when it comes to institutions. 1,500 institutional clients. Today, BitGo is the leader in digital asset security, custody, and liquidity, providing the operational backbone for more than 1,500 institutional clients in over 50 countries. A list that includes many regulated entities and the world's top cryptocurrency exchanges and platforms. BitGo also processes approximately 20% of all global Bitcoin transactions by value. If we're thinking about this, right, I've always addressed the fact that Bitcoin itself will most likely be tokenized. When you look at Bitcoin and more so, trying to transact with Bitcoin, it's very inefficient. So if you tokenized it on a network like Hedera or the XRP Ledger or, things like that, you can now move Bitcoin very quick, fractions of pennies. And this is through it's kind of like wrapped Bitcoin, if you will. I think that this is going to probably be the future for Bitcoin. I don't think that the Bitcoin network will be utilized as much as people think. And it's because of how inefficient it is to move, especially when we compare it to third generation technology. And of course, BitGo, being there, 20% of all transactions by value of Bitcoin, that's pretty significant. But outside of this, over here, we have the official announcement. We are excited to announce that leading digital asset trust and security company BitGo has joined the Hedera Council, bringing with it over a decade of experience in Web3 to support innovations and invest in the future success of the Hedera network. With over 1,500 institutional clients globally across 50 nations, BitGo's customers include Fortune 100 brands, over 200 crypto exchanges, governments, hedge funds, asset managers, venture capital firms, market makers, pension funds, and ultra-high net worth individuals. We see significant future product opportunities in the context of real-world tokenization, settlement, and payment verticals with Hedera. We look forward to seeing how this new partnership with BitGo brings value to the Hedera ecosystem and Web3 as a whole through our collaborative and continuing effort to deliver real-world value to users, enterprises, and institutions using DLT. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this back up, is because we recently saw the CEO of BitGo talking about Hedera unlocking new possibilities. Now, before I play that clip, I just want to say the big thing that gets me excited about BitGo is the fact that this is a Web3 brand. This is a Web3 company that knows the Web3 space. They're not just joining the governing council to sit on the governing council and that's it. Like most of the GC members that are on the GC. Now, I do think that BitGo is going to explore a lot of building opportunities and legitimate use cases. And here we have the CEO of Hashgraph on the impact of this partnership with BitGo and Hedera, unlocking new possibilities with secure custodial solutions and a seat on the governing council. And this got posted on September 30th. Check this out.
BitGo has been a custodian of many of our organizations, many of our clients, many of our partners. BitGo is also integrating the tokens service and the consensus service, what we call HTS and HCS, into their platform. And the value of doing this is when you build a new solution on Hedera, you can trust BitGo to be the custodian of that solution when you need it, when you build your own solution. And then finally, BitGo just joined the governing council of Hedera, which is exciting for us because that's a validation that the ecosystem players, the technology vendors, it's a really, really important partnership between Hedera and BitGo. Really excited about that.
So there you guys have it. And, you know, again, even if we go back over to the original announcement from Hedera, if we look at this, okay, if we scroll down to the quote here from the CEO of BitGo, we have, there is immense value in a diversity of purpose-driven networks, which is why we remain steadfast in our support for Hedera as a network that will push the boundaries of use cases, product development, and performance limits. BitGo has played a leading role in Web3 since its inception, so we recognize that it takes many participants to come together to drive real change. We see significant opportunities for future product development with Hedera through our involvement with the Hedera Council, especially in the context of real-world tokenization, settlement, and payment verticals. And I do believe that this is going to also open up a massive institutional floodgate. And we have BitGo has extensive expertise and real-world experience with product development and architecture, governance, regulations, tokenomics, and go-to-market strategy, which they will bring to Hedera, to the Hedera Council and the wider Hedera ecosystem. Beyond this, BitGo is an important name in the industry and a project suitably aligned with the Hedera vision for security, scalability, speed, and sustainability. We're excited to see how this relationship between Hedera and BitGo unfolds in light of today's news. Now, you know what's crazy about all of this? Is if we go back in time to April when we saw this original announcement, here we have BitGo is an infrastructure player in the crypto industry, and they are now a governing council member of Hedera. Big shout out to Subjective Views for this. And this is from the interview with Zenobia, as well as the BitGo CEO. Qualified custodian, wallet service provider, Goldman Sachs backed, institutional grade security. 1 out of 3 exchanges uses BitGo under the hood. Custodian for some of the recent Bitcoin ETFs. They hold several billions units of HBAR. Check it out.
You know, you have been working with Hedera and the various members of the ecosystem for some time. But again, you know, I think a lot of your work happens behind the scenes. So can you share with us how that relationship has evolved over the last few years?
I think as all of our relationships with foundations and L1 start, it begins with support of the token or the chain in BitGo custody and wallets. And what that means is anyone building on BitGo, again, exchange and application and enterprise, the moment BitGo supports Hedera, then anyone else who offers what they do or builds on what they do using BitGo can then offer Hedera to their client base. And so that relationship goes back several years at this point. We are happily working with the foundation to not only support custody of the tokens, but we're also building some cool stuff now. We're looking at some staking. We're looking at some things related to tokenization. You know, we custody several billion units of Hedera today, and we're looking to help grow that as we grow the ecosystem together.
Fantastic. And so along this journey, what made you decide, you know, we need to be a part of this governing council? We need to, you know, have input. We need to participate in governance, all the things that come along with being a council member.
I'll be honest. Hedera's been on radar for quite some time, right? In my day-to-day, we speak to a lot of ecosystem participants just because our product surface area, as you can imagine, is pretty broad. So we talk to a lot of players. Hedera has come up consistently in the realm of, let's say, real estate tokenization or social networks or even payments. To be honest, I don't think we ever thought about joining the council because we didn't think we would be able to get a seat because we saw who was on that council, and we're like, well, we're a small player, even though we're pretty spread out and plugged into the crypto ecosystem. We're not some of these Fortune 100s out there. But when the opportunity came, you know, the potential presented itself through Schwartz Labs, that we might be able to contribute, we got really excited about that. Our goal as a company is to deliver trust in digital assets. And, as an infrastructure player, our goal, frankly, is to grow the size of the pie. We also believe in the proliferation of both crypto as well as DLT in enterprise. And so if we thought, hey, if we got a chance to be on this council and help in the ways that matter that can grow the size of this pie, we would jump at the chance.
Now, I do want to really quickly say, I do apologize. I did think that it was the CEO of BitGo. It's actually the director of platform of sales, but it's still, incredible insights there, especially when it comes to the fact that, if we think about BitGo, if they're saying, hey, we didn't know that we could get a seat on that GC when it comes to Hedera because we're not these massive players that Hedera has on the GC, it speaks volumes on how big of a player Hedera actually is in the space. Everyone is overlooking that, and it's kind of crazy because Hedera is still extremely undervalued. But then again, if you think about it, okay, let's go all the way back to April of 2023 when the Hashgraph Association launched the Hashgraph Enterprise Program. This was to accelerate development of institutional-grade solutions through workshops, training, technical support, and funding for enterprises building on Hedera. Now, you might be saying, all right, well, Nick, did anything even come from this? Yes. In fact, a lot of great announcements happened from this point on. We saw a lot of things around Aberdeen, Archix, things like that. But then also the IIF, Institute of International Finance. This just happened back in August. We're excited to announce that Hedera has officially joined the IIF, joining the likes of Circle, Coinbase, and BlackRock and other leading institutions to collaboratively foster global financial stability and sustainable economic growth. Again, a lot of these use cases, a lot of these announcements, everything around Hedera just continues to get overlooked. But then if you actually think about how big this name actually is, guys, just go over to the website. Look at the breakdown real quick. So the IIF's 400 member institutions from over 60 countries include leading players in financial services headquartered in virtually every region of the world. Member firms include a wide diversity of business types, including commercial and investment banks, asset managers, insurance companies, professional service firms, exchanges, sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, central banks, and even development banks. And yeah, just going off the first list here, we're immediately welcomed with major banking players, major financial giants. I mean, the list just goes on here. And then, you do have a lot of central banks. You have a lot of, asset management companies. You have BlackRock on here. You have these absolute giants that, if you think about the fact that they're collaborating with some of these players like Hedera, because again, the full focus of this is to collaborate together to foster global financial stability and sustainable economic growth. Think about the exposure that Hedera has now. Okay. And we're not even talking about Copper as well back in August where, they integrated with Hedera. This was to provide custody support, staking services, and all that kind of stuff for institutional investors. The floodgates have been open for a while. We're just waiting for the money to trickle in around institutions. Now, yes, we still probably have to wait for regulations for that to happen. But guys, once we see those regulations implemented into the space, names like Hedera immediately become some of the biggest players in the space, and even outside of the space probably, because I do think that Hedera is going to be a blue chip. I think it's going to be a household name. This space is going to grow astronomically over the next couple months, years. I mean, this is going to be where all of the money is made. I really do think that crypto, you have a very, very small window of opportunity here to be positioned early enough to the point where, you are essentially going to be the future 1% or, one of those early adopters that became extremely wealthy because you saw the ultimate vision that is unfolding here, which is all the institutional players, every single central bank, all of these big organizations, they can't stop talking about DLT. They can't stop talking about tokenization. At a time where it seems as though retail wants to flee this market, they almost want to just sell and get out of this market. And it's wild to me that we're this early in something like this, where this space could immediately erupt to tens of trillions of dollars, yet people want to escape this this market. I just don't understand that. I really don't understand that. We have blue chips sitting right in front of us. We have some of the largest players working with these names, and yet it feels as though we still have no idea what's happening, even though we clearly do. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.